Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. It's KepSquad here, and in this video we're going to discuss 5 items and weapons that Fortnite should bring back into the game in Season 4. At the start of Chapter 2, Fortnite vaulted many of the weapons that we had come to know, and after the recent 14 Days of Summer event, Fortnite brought back a series of LTMs that allowed us to see some of the old weapons and items that we were missing in the game throughout this entire chapter. And as Fortnite often at the beginning of each season brings back a bunch of new weapons into the game, in this video we're going to discuss 5 different items and weapons that could be brought back with the new season only a few weeks away. Now, how this list will be broken down is we'll be first ranking 5 items Fortnite could bring back into the new season, and then we will move on to 5 weapons Fortnite could bring back into the new season. And leave a comment down below for what item or weapon do you want Fortnite to bring back in Season 4. So kicking off on the items portion of the list, number 5 on the list is the shield bubble. A very underrated and often forgotten item that was in Fortnite, as it was only in the game for one season, Season X, and given all the chaos that happened in Season X, this item is often forgotten about, but was actually very useful specifically towards the competitive scene. Many competitive players found shield bubbles a very useful item, especially in packed endgame matches, but it also had its use in public matches. This item was very useful if you were getting third-partied. It was just an instant cover that you can drop down with you and possibly your squad mates. It was a very useful team item. And seeing how this item didn't really have any faults to it, and how it was only in this game for only one season, look for Epic to possibly bring this item back in Season 4, and something many players, especially players on the competitive side of Fortnite, could really enjoy. Number 4 on our list is the Shockwave Grenade. Obviously, we've come to know this season how great or how overpowered, depending on what kind of player you are, the Shockwave Grenade Launcher is, but obviously we cannot forget its original version of itself, which was the Shockwave Grenade. The Shockwave Grenade was vaulted along with a bunch of other stuff at the start of the chapter, and because I believe the Shockwave Grenade Launcher will most likely be vaulted and replaced with possibly a new mythic weapon in the new season, it paves the way for the possibility of Epic bringing back the Shockwave Grenade as an item in the game. Not as overpowered as the Shockwave Grenade Launcher, but had many of the similar uses of the Shockwave Grenade Launcher. You could use it as an item to rotate, as well if you were a more aggressive player, push enemies, or even shockwave into somebody's 1x1. The amount of plays that you were able to make with the Shockwave Grenade, basically the same that you could make with the Shockwave Grenade Launcher, only you could only hold, I believe, 2 Shockwave Grenades, as opposed to the 16 that you can with the Shockwave Grenade Launcher. So a much more balanced version of that mythic item that could possibly be brought back into the game in the new season. And number 3 on the list is the Rift to Go. It actually has been a long time that we have seen the Rift to Go in the game. The last time the Rift to Go was an item in the main game of Fortnite was all the way back in Season 9, and it was vaulted in that season. And this was just a useful item for all players. I'd say primarily in pubs players really liked it, and in competitive it was actually even more useful, but some players could cry that it was maybe even too powerful in competitive Fortnite. But the Rift to Go was just a very useful item, and with the return of rifts on the map that could be seen if you complete the spaceship event challenge that is on the map currently, it reveals about 4 or 5 rifts after the rocket launches. So with the return of rifts onto the map on the Battle Royale island, the actual return of the Rift to Go in the game could be something we might be able to see in the next season. Probably one of the most useful rotation items that have ever been brought into the game. Not to mention the amount of trick plays that could be done with this item as well. Obviously a very loved item that most likely we could likely see the return of in the new season. And number 2 on our list is Shadow Bombs. Sticking of the topic of really useful rotation item, the Shadow Bomb, which was also last seen in the game in Season 9, was not only useful for rotating around the map, but also a useful item to use offensively against opponents. The Shadow Bomb didn't turn you fully invisible, as you would be able to still see your opponent who used it. They would just be in a ghost-like form. You could catch some players who weren't paying attention off guard, and definitely also some more lesser skilled players. And it was a useful item for that reason, to be able to flank enemies. And the Shadow Bomb was also famously used in the World Cup, where many of the pro players in that World Cup used these Shadow Bombs to make some really crazy plays. And although it has been a long time since the Shadow Bombs have been in the game, hopefully due to just overall desire of the Fortnite community to have an item like this back in the game, maybe Epic listens and hopefully brings an item like the Shadow Bomb back into Fortnite in Season 4. And number 1 for the item portion of the list, number 1 on the list is traps.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Cypher!
Now obviously, traps have been gone in the game for now 2 seasons after being vaulted at the beginning of season 2. And initially, there was kind of a mix of players who were upset about traps being removed, and also players, that were actually happy to be removed. But what did happen was it did cause a very aggressive style of play to be used by many players, where they could just go into your box without any repercussion. And obviously, if traps were ever to be returned into the game, obviously many players have suggested a 125 damage or 100 damage nerf instead of 150 damage, as well as maybe disabling traps after a player who has used them has been eliminated, just to prevent some players spamming traps unskillfully. But I think traps being added into the game, especially if they were to get nerfed, would bring a really nice dynamic into the game where you could play defensive or aggressive and make for some really nice counterplay. Moving on to the weapons portion of the list, number 5 on our list is the Tactical AR. The Tactical AR was first introduced obviously in Season 9 with the Bounty LTM, and has been in and out of the game at various portions, but it's always been a very consistent weapon. Not a long range weapon, but could be used at mid-range really well and also close range. It was kind of a mixture of the SMG and attack and an assault rifle. It used light bullets, and also a weapon, because it used light bullets, many players would actually opt to pick it up. You usually have a lot of light ammo in your inventory. This weapon has actually been in the game. It was in presence back in the first season of Chapter 2, and it was a very consistent weapon, not overpowered at all, pretty useful, not a bad weapon. I wouldn't be surprised if Fortnite would bring something like this back into the game in the next season. Number 4 on the list is the hand cannon. Now the hand cannon was actually reskinned in the game, which leads to the idea that the hand cannon could be brought back into the main game. Because why would they change what the hand cannon looked like if they weren't planning to bring it back into the game? Obviously, the Deagle has seen better days when it originally, at its strongest point, was able to one-shot wooden walls. But after they nerfed that, it was still a solid weapon. A weapon like the hand cannon being added back into the game just adds more to the variety of the loot pool that Fortnite kind of has been missing since the chapter started. So adding a couple of fun weapons that haven't been in the game, in the main game at least in a while, would probably be a smart idea. And seeing how they did change the way it looked in the game, look for it to possibly be added into the new season. Sticking with the pistol category, at number 3 on the list, we have dual-wield pistols. The dual-wield pistols were actually recently changed in their damage. Fortnite recently changed the dual-wield pistol damage to do 39 and 41 damage, as opposed to the 43 and 44 damage that they did the last time they were in the core game. And the fact that Fortnite changed dual-wield pistols damage without it being in the main game leads me to believe that Fortnite most likely could bring the dual-wield pistols back into the core game of Fortnite. Now, the dual-wield pistols were a trusty, pretty reliable weapon, a weapon that if you got them in the beginning of a match, you wouldn't complain, pretty powerful, and you could work with them. And bringing a weapon like that back into the game would make the loot pool a lot better overall, lessening the chance of you getting a green pistol or gray pistol, and something like the dual pistols obviously would be something that would make the overall loot pool better. And some players actually were a big fan of these weapons. They're pretty underrated weapon, decent damage, decent headshot damage as well, even with the nerf, which isn't too bad. But that nerf most likely hints that Epic could add dual pistols back. So look for dual pistols to be added in the game in Season 4. And number 2 on our list is the flintlock pistol. 3 pistols in a row. Another weapon that was removed at the start of the chapter. The flintlock pistol was definitely a fan favorite weapon. It did not spawn from chest, it was only ground spawn, but it did very decent damage, and it was a one-shot to the head if you had no shield. So it was actually a pretty decent weapon to find in the beginning of the game, as well as the knockback effect that it happened when you shot the pistol made for it to also be not only a decent weapon to find, but also a good rotation item, because it launched you pretty decent distance back, and also something that you could use offensively to gain high ground over your opponents. This gun was fairly loved, and although it was in the game for 2 seasons after it was added, hopefully due to just the desire of the community to have a weapon like this brought back into the game, Epic hopefully could bring the flintlock pistol back into the loot rotation in Season 4. And one honorable mention on the list, I have no reason to think that this weapon will be brought back into Season 4 in Fortnite, but I wanted to put this on the list just because I feel that it is truly forgotten about, the guided missile. Now, if you saw my video on mythic weapons in Fortnite in Season 3, I predicted that the guided missile could be added in as a mythic weapon. Obviously, that did not happen, but I'm going to put it on the list here as an honorable mention only because I think people really forget how good this weapon was when it was originally added into Fortnite, and how much fun players had with it. This weapon was actually even deleted from the game completely. It's not even in creative. You can't find this weapon anywhere. But Epic has put the guided missile in a couple of loading screens, which makes it possible they could be reworking the weapon to re-add it back into the game and bring it back at a later date. When that date is, we don't know, but I am putting this on honorable mention
because it's my list.
And I really want the guided missile back into Fortnite. And number 1 on our list for the weapons portion is my favorite weapon, the infantry rifle. So the infantry rifle was recently brought back in the solid gold LTM and also the unvaulted LTM, and many players really had a lot of fun with it. So it's not only my favorite weapon, but many in the community as well. It was a weapon that rewarded aim and accuracy and did very good damage and very little damage drop off. And it would actually fit really uniquely in the current Fortnite meta, considering at the start of the season, Epic nerfed all the headshot damage of all the ARs. All assault rifles in the game no longer do 2 times damage to the head. If Epic were to bring back the infantry rifle into Fortnite untouched, that would mean the infantry rifle not only would be the most accurate gun, but the most rewarding gun, as it would do the most damage to the head, with the gold one doing as much as 88 damage headshot. Probably one of the most fun weapons that I've ever used in Fortnite, and hopefully Fortnite brings everything that I mentioned on this list into Season 4, but if I get at least one of these items correct, that they are added into the next season, everybody watching the video must subscribe. So that is our list. Let me know which one of these items do you guys miss being in Fortnite, and which one of these items do you most want to return in the game in Season 4. With all that said, don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to join the squad, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.